someone's in here. Someone's in here.
I'm gonna take that as yes.
All right, let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
The front door's locked, right? Can we walk out this door or will it lock?
It's locked. Hi, we're at the Los Angeles Police Museum, and I think someone got inside. Oh no.
How? Don't you think it's a little strange that when calling the police station for help? Isn't anybody else find that a little strange?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah. I heard something banging on the walls. Yeah, that's what I heard before. I mean, has anybody seen anything on the letter beats?
You should have locked, right?
Oh yeah, he's out. Wait.
It's locked?
Oh, yep, he's out there.
Yeah, he's outside.
All right.
There's a man right outside of the front door.
Yeah, he's on the front step.
No, he did not. Oh, he's right there.
No.
He's right
Oh,
there.
I see the shame.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's going.
I don't know, he's just outside.
But that door was not secured.
Well, I can't tell. He's just laying there.
Okay.
It was ajar when I came down here.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, he must have knocked it off the tracker.
He must have. I heard. Oh, he could break that.
He could.
This is kind of scary though.
It is very.
That's the thing. Ghosts and stuff don't scare me.
Yeah.
That scares me.
Hey, Jay, maybe it's the one with the knife that they're talking about.
Right.
Maybe it was some foresight right there because someone's holding a weapon.
I just.
At least we know who's going to call to action. If the
I
real
just
shit
went and
goes
got
down.
it. I didn't know who was gonna come around the corner. I was just gonna. Just be a learning moment.
Right.
I'm like a little late on edge.
I am too.
I am too,
Yeah.
like, little-
I need like
Yeah.
a shot of whiskey or something.
Yeah.
I know. Oh my God. I was like, you scared me. He was like, and I was like,
Dang, he came with the doors and there's a boat.
that's what that was, a boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, he was banging on the doors. He probably thought it was a police station. That's what I can think.
He was probably smashing his head on
He was just laying on the ground when you guys walked up there.
Yeah.
I think he knocked himself out.
Yeah, he looked like he was knocked out, and then all of a sudden he like
Woke up.
popped awake. Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
That is scary.
That's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me on the investigation.
Yeah.
No,
I was like, no more Ouija board, guys.
Yeah.
There's something else going on. It's like,
all right, paranormal investigators. Where are we going next?
We're gonna do a little walkthrough.
we never had the chance to really do the walkthrough up here. We went straight into the experiment, but what are you feeling up here? Take a moment.
So when we first walked up here, I was overwhelmed by a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy. Oh, did it spike?
Yeah.
Nice. And I was at first drawn to this room. So
I got a
might as
big spike.
You got a
Sorry
spike
to
there
interrupt you,
too?
but 3.6 from 0.
Yeah, we went down to 45.
This is the room then?
Yeah, this room I was called to go in here. Okay, there's something super creepy about, mannequins are creepy anyway, but there's something wish I could like touch these things that are behind glass. There's a lot of energy.
Sorry, I literally, if the camera was on me at all, you just saw me do a full-on shake. Like I got a full shiver down my spine.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy coming from behind this glass. Very specifically, I mean the whole thing, but very specifically those masks, those ski masks. I mean, they're just creepy anyway, but there's... You really good.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can... I'm getting like... I'm just getting from behind this glass, I'm getting a lot of, well, I get death, obviously, but I'm getting a lot of anger. Like, whoever wore these outfits, it's just like so much anger, like just wanting to just burn it all down kind of a thing, you know, just destroy like everything. And so much in hatred. There's just like, so it's almost too much. There's like seething hatred coming from these. And whoever wore these, they are not at rest. There's no peaceful spirits here. Yeah, okay, that's a lot. There's a lot of, yeah, it's really...
Can I ask you a spiritual technical question?
Sure.
We got interrupted in the middle of a Ouija session. Does it have to be closed out or anything?
No, it's fine.
You're just asking.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, you know, in like a normal, you know, situation, if I was doing a full seance, I would do a whole thing. But the nature of this is a little different, so I think we're okay.
I also just feel like when we were in that session, there was a point in time where, like, at least psychically, I shifted out completely because of that crazy guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like instantly my energy shifted. I didn't feel like I had any lingering things from that.
Yeah, no, it shut
Yeah.
down immediately.
Yeah.
In fact, what's weird is the Ouija board shut down before we even heard the guy. So,
Yeah.
And I was going to say as we were sitting there, but then it got crazy. The spirits knew he was there and stopped talking to us. For whatever reason, that energy, whoever was talking to us didn't want anything to do with that energy. It was like a complete disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even feel a pull to go back to the board at all whatsoever.
So just something that I observed too, because there's a claim about the eyes following people.
Mm-hmm.
When different lights hit the eye, whatever those eyes are made out of, it does look like the eye actually is moving back and forth.
Oh yeah, I can see that, especially if you kind of like move around.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's super. More that one, I
Yeah.
feel like, than that one.
It catches the glint of whatever the material is and what they're made of, and it does look like it follows you.
When I was sitting down during the session, I had this guy in my eye line, and he looked like he was like
peering.
just really looking at us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some real like negative energy happening over here.
So Misha explained it to me with the motion detector up there because I was still having a hard time understanding what she was trying to tell me how it works.
Mm-hmm.
The light is consistently on. When there is movement, that's when the whole thing goes dark. And while you were talking about them, the light was flashing a little bit. And while you were talking about the light was flashing a little bit.
Oh, was it?
So I just want to see if we can get the camera lights shining on the window here and see if that affects that motion detector up there. Switch it around. No, it's not going off.
No, it's not doing anything.
But it's not affecting
Well,
it right now.
you know, what Misha also told me is that the thing supposedly is designed to have a range of the interior of this cage.
So we'll see outside.
So, and we've tried to make it go off from out here, and it doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah, well, it was blinking while you were talking.
Oh, wow. I mean, that is something Spirit likes to do. Like my house lights consistently blink. Oof, yeah, the energy in here is a lot.
Will you, I just want to try something real quick. Will you start talking about them again?
Sure.
Just talk about the energy you feel?
I can feel their anger. I can feel the hatred. Something, they think something is despicable. They just want destruction.
It just went off.
They want to destroy everything. And they're in a dark place. And their spirits are not at rest. It almost feels like a burning. Like I feel like when I tap into them, I feel my skin feels like it's on fire.
Yeah, it's going on and off.
Oh, it is.
I'm counting in between times to see if there's a pattern. There's not.
That's strange.
Spirits.
Yeah, so.
Are you with us? Do we have the voice thing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting
On record?
something. Yeah.
It could just be a weird connection, but my green light is just flickering and flashing, kind of like crazy.
I see that.
Went off again.
It's flashing like crazy right now,
Oh,
and there's no pattern to it.
Neil and Larry, are you here with us?
And right before you said that, I was hearing static again.
I turned my ring light off.
It's back.
Yeah, because I was getting something in my ear.
It just went off.
It just went off.
Came back on.
I see that. What's that?
Whoa.
What was that?
You heard that, right?
Yeah, what was that?
Sacred?
Wait, I want to hear it before you say it.
Well, I just got wicked chills.
Singers or something like that? Something with the S for sure.
Yeah, like Caesar or...
But I also feel like I'm hearing something before then, and it said something, then we talked, and then it said something.
Yeah. That would be another one to
To
listen.
listen with the headphones.
Yeah.
These things are spooky though.
They are very spooky, especially like
Creepy as hell.
down the barrel again.
That first, I guess, before I call it an EVP, but for lack of a better term, it's like, that's exactly what, Cynthia got on her camera, that sound.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same thing she picked up on her camera. She said she felt really uncomfortable here, so she took it upon herself to put a Ring camera, and then she caught an EVP in here at 3:45 in the morning,
Right.
and it sounded just like the very first one.
Right.
Now it hasn't
Really
blinked at
dog.
all for a long time.
Barking outside.
I just want to make sure everybody knows that we did try to do one.
Oh yeah.
I don't see it doing anything now.
Yeah, now this is the longest it stayed straight on
Hmm.
since we've been in here.
I'm hearing we don't want you. Thanks, guys.
Started blinking again.
No, I'm not getting anything now.
So you heard what did you hear?
We don't want you.
We don't want you.
Yeah.
But that was just like a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
Because when you heard that, that's when that blinked.
Oh,
And then when you said you're not getting anything now, it's been straight on the whole entire time since that little flash.
The energy in here is very strange.
I just, like if it's supposed to pick up on movement.
Right, like I was moving and then I wasn't moving, but it wasn't.
No, not
timed.
you. I'm just thinking like just the movement that it's picking up in there.
I kind of felt like he was drawn to it, to be honest. Because there's sort of like a fine line there. I don't want to say too much because I'm not a psychiatrist, but there's like a fine line of like, there's some people believe that people who are, mentally ill or what have you are more in tune with these energies, and that some people actually believe they're not really mentally ill, that they're just in tune with these energies. I'm not going to say that, but it really wouldn't surprise me if us raising that energy attracted him, to be honest.
He tried to come in.
Yeah, he wanted in, and he was angry.
Yeah.
And when I started to hide behind the wall because when he saw me and stood up and was like yelling at me directly, and that's why I was like, I'm just gonna like hide over here for a second. But we could have accidentally attracted him.
What if he got in?
I know. Yeah, let's not think about that.
No.
Are you kidding me? This is the most protected. If somebody got in, I'd feel more protected here than any other place. I'd just go put myself in a cell. I'd grab a gun.
Right.
None of them are.
I'm curious about this room.
Yeah, I'm feeling drawn into it.
I'm curious to find out if you guys get anything in this room, because this room is the one room that.
I would like to roll some audio in here too.
Yeah, definitely.
When it's settled, set it right here on top of this.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, I think in part, what I feel when I get in this room is that the display is larger than me.
Right.
The imagery is way bigger. It looms over your head, and maybe that has something to do with it.
Right.
There's also a strange smell in here. Does anyone else smell it?
I feel like somebody else said something about a strange smell in here too last time I was here.
I'm trying to figure out. It's almost like car fumes or something. Like like that, something,
Like exhaust.
yeah, exactly, like exhaust. But an old timey car, not a modern car, like the
Like diesel.
diesel, exactly, yeah, because it's got a little bit of a sweeter smell than like a normal car. And also a touch of burning, like a flame that's been put out, and there's like a lingering burning scent.
Well, standing next to the SLA exhibit, and most of those people died in a burning house.
Okay, that would make sense.
Like literally, I can't even talk. Literally, as I walked in this room, I picked up some stuff on my headset.
This room is giving me like I feel like I can't breathe. I feel suffocated in here.
Well, I'm gonna let you lead the way.
Yeah.
I feel like that room.
This room?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely something here too, but this is more.
Did you see this photo?
Oh wow.
This is like the scent you were talking about.
Yes, that is exactly the scent. Burning in
The
a car.
old car.
Oh wow, that's.
Look at all of
Yeah,
these.
you even said a little car.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's nuts. That's totally nuts. So what is? It's all that smell, because it's like burning plastic, rubber, and then also this like I don't know if anybody's suffocated. I mean, but there's I'm getting like I want to grab at my throat. Like I feel like I need my inhaler or something, And also my throat is starting to burn in here. Was someone trapped in that?
I don't know.
I would say either of these rooms, you're gonna get something. Feels like. I would do the sound. Oh, is the sound running right now? Or no?
No,
that's
That's the remote.
when you're ready, we'll.
Yeah, I'm feeling the sound in here more. There's like that same staticky thing. Is
Right.
happening. Oh god, I can smell it.
We're recording.
Spirits, speak to us, please.
A lot of outdoors noise.
Yeah, we got some outdoor noise.
I feel like I was just kind of pushed to the side.
Really?
I'm getting a wooziness.
It was like something pushed my knee.
I just heard a slight tap. Was that somebody?
That's probably it.
Okay.
Me.
Wait, what did you say? Something pushed your knee in?
I felt like I'm standing like this, and then something like pushed me in like that at the knee, like from the back of the kneecap.
right before you said that on there. Really faint.
I thought I just heard something and I noticed that again, so just wanted me to know. I feel like I was just kind of pushed to the side. I don't know. There's like something, like pushed in the knee. I just heard a slight tap. That's how me out. Wait, what did you say? Something pushed your knee in? I felt like I was standing like
You
this.
seem breathy.
Yeah.
Did you hear something breathy?
Yeah.
That's how me out. Wait, what did you say? Something pushed your knee in? I felt like
That right there.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys hearing?
It was like a
Like
like
a,
a something like that.
Wait, what did you say? Something pushed your knee in? I felt like
yeah, right there.
Yeah. And right before you said that you heard something in the ear, I heard something similar to that right before that. But even farther. What was that?
What was that?
What's the one? It's me saying I'm gonna put this back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But you
Okay,
know,
hold on. I know you well enough to know when something's up.
Yeah.
What's up?
Why? Because I'm staring out the store?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just getting like vibes out there.
let's go here.
I don't know. Like,
I saw you stare outside the door several times like you saw something.
I feel like there is something out over here. Yeah. Yeah, I feel it's like keeping a distance and being very observant.
Ever since that whole situation, I felt a lot more tense.
Yeah.
It really does.
I think what we did is like all of us being on edge just kind of amplified the energy in here a little bit. It shifted the dynamic of the haunt a little. What was that?
Should we get a check on that?
Yeah. See, I'm like, there's something around here. I'm like not digging.
Okay.
Did you get their audio?
But it's a pretty big bang.
Just so you know, they've asked us to cut this short tonight because they have not caught this guy yet.
Oh no. Shit. I heard like a bang from down here. Yeah, I do too.
There's someone coming in the front door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
So Marilyn Monroe, we have everything associated with her death and all the records, and I think we have some of her mementos that we recovered in the bedroom there. That's a very interesting case because there were implications that there are political figures behind it. She may have known some inside information, but because of that and some other things surrounding her death, even though we have her files, it is still sealed by the DA's office, so it's not, to this date, allowed to be viewed in public.
This is the thing here, is there is evidence everywhere. And I was just down in the basement looking at the evidence files and the displays, and some of the stuff here that I haven't been able to see yet is with Marilyn Monroe. And everything about Marilyn is still unresolved. We don't know. We just don't know. And to be able to go through this and experience this here tonight, for me, certainly with everybody from my generation and who Marilyn was, is pretty exciting. And Don Burleson is going to join us now. He has he's written a book about Marilyn and the timeline before and after her murder. And there's another tie in here. Don is the New Mexico State Director for MUFON. And we know all of the other evidence behind Marilyn, and it just pans out in so many different directions. And there's another part of this, and there's a possible UFO connection, which I'm very excited about. Don, welcome. How are you?
Fine, glad to be here.
Don, so much has been presented over the years about Marilyn Monroe and the timeline. And as we move along, more evidence is coming forward. I don't know which direction to go in from the past and who to believe. Which timeline, which parallel universe do we need to go into?
Well, I'm not sure I'm familiar with all the possible parallel universes. You know, basically what I've done with my book is to look at the evidence that I'm aware of, which is very considerable, and form a hypothesis and discuss whether, you know, that hypothesis seems to support all the collected evidence. And I think I can argue pretty strongly that my hypothesis does. Basically, Marilyn was murdered. First of all, we have to get rid of the suicide nonsense. You know, to this day, you hear people swear up and down that Marilyn committed suicide, but there are any number of ways of disproving that. One of which, for example, comes from her toxicology report. With all of the other stuff that disappeared about Marilyn, you know, after her death, it's really remarkable that the toxicology report remained essentially intact in the Los Angeles Hall of Records. And basically, what Dr. Abernethy's toxicology report shows is that her blood chemistry was exceedingly toxic. Essentially, she had 4.5 milligrams percent pentobarbital and 8.0 milligrams percent chloral hydrate as a toxic density in her blood. And people keep saying, well, she just gobbled up a bunch of Nembutal tablets, but the people who made Nembutal, which is an outfit called Abbott Laboratories, will tell you themselves that that's simply not possible. If you sit down and start taking Nembutal tablets, one after another, and say, okay, I'm going to raise my blood toxicity to the level that they found in Maryland's. The trouble with that is, by about the time you get about a third of the way there, you're going to be lying on the floor dead, you know, and your blood levels, your blood toxicity has come nowhere near that level. The Abbott Laboratories people said it would take from 75 to 90 Nembutal tablets and possibly more to achieve that kind of toxicity. And well, as Marilyn's cohort, Robert Slater, has told us, Marilyn had a hard time even taking an aspirin. She needed a tall glass of water just to get an aspirin down because she choked on them. And the simple fact is, there was no glass of water found, you know, when the police did their check. And in fact, the plumbing was turned off for repairs in the bedroom in the bathroom adjoining her bedroom. So the whole idea that she did this to herself by just gobbling tablets, you know, is nonsense. The other thing is, her state of mind was anything but suicidal. She had movie scripts scattered all over her house at 12305 Fifth Helena Drive. She was looking at something like 20 different scripts, and she was really up. People like Peter Lawford went around saying, "Oh, she was terribly suicidally despondent," and so forth. But because 20th Century Fox had fired her, from making that movie they were working on, and the trouble with that is they neglect to tell you she was hired back a week and a half later at 5 times her original salary. Not only that, but she had another $500,000 worth of contracts sitting on Mickey Rudin's desk, her attorney, and everybody that knew her, for example, Jeannie Carmen, her friend, everybody that knew her said she was extremely bouncy and up and anything but suicidal. The one negative emotion she seemed to be exhibiting on August 4th, the day she died, not the 5th, by the way, but the 4th, 10:45 p.m., plus or minus 3 minutes. The one negative emotionality she had was anger. She was ticked off at people. She fired Eunice Murray, her housekeeper. She was about to fire Dr. Ralph Greenson, her psychiatrist. She was fed up with him. She was mad at the Kennedys, for stiff arming her. And I think any psychologist will tell you anger is not an emotion that leads to suicide. When you're really ticked off at everybody around you, what you want to do is hang around and impose that on them.
Well, let me jump in. Let me jump in right there, because there's enough evidence to support that she was getting ready to make an announcement. Now, with all of her connections and what she knew, not only about the Kennedys, but everything else that was going on at the time, that announcement could have been about any number of different things, which would be motive to silence her. What do you think she was getting ready to announce to the press?
Well, probably a variety of things. Here again, you have to look at this from the point of view of making an hypothesis and seeing how well it does or does not support, what you know. And the hypothesis that, for example, she was going to rip the world apart by telling everybody that had and Bobby Kennedy is nonsense. People say, "Oh, they were so afraid their wives were going to find out." Well, you know what? Jackie Kennedy already knew. Ethel Kennedy already knew. The idea that it was about marital infidelity is really ludicrous. About 20 years after the fact, some commentators said that there was something really shocking and so forth, and would be shocking now and still hasn't come out. Well, who is shocked by that sort of thing starting around the 1980s? I mean, certainly people were more jaded than that, but I'll tell you what it was that they were afraid. I claim that she might have been planning to tell, because she did, say, unfortunately, on her telephone, which is her fatal mistake, that she was going to hold a news conference and, quote, tell all, unquote. In the early 1990s, a CIA memo, a former memo, appeared rather mysteriously. We think that a former archivist sort of, how shall I put this, liberated the document because the top secret stamps, for example, had not been marked off, which is something that happens automatically when you declassify something. This document appeared. It went through the Milo Spiriglio detective agency initially and finally circulated globally. The CIA document came out on August 3rd, 1962, the day before her death. And it talked about the fact that the CIA and other government officials were very nervous about a lot of things, including her diary and what might be in it. And in a list of things that concerned them, it said, one of the secrets that we were concerned about was, quote, the visit by the president at a secret airbase for the purpose of inspecting things from outer space. Now, you can form the hypothesis that, well, I mean, you know, things from outer space, you know, Jack Kennedy might have gone down to that airbase to look at some space junk that just fell out of the sky, you know, defunct satellites, you know, that sort of thing. But what in the world would be sensitive about that? And why would he make a big deal during his pillow talk, you know, to kind of whisper it to Marilyn? My hypothesis is that, in fact, he was looking at UFO debris, and or probably little bodies. That's the sort of thing that really would be shocking. And if he told that to her in a moment of indiscretion, and by the way, he was famous for moments like that. I could tell you a lot of stories about that. He was putting her in a great deal, in a very troublesome spot, because she wasn't eligible to get information like that. But Kennedy had a habit of doing that. He had a habit of having a hard time separating his hormonal life from the duties of office, you know. And what they were deadly afraid of, I've claimed, and I've got all kinds of arguments in the book, you know, to support this, is that she was going to stand up there in front of those microphones and say, you know what Jack told me? He told me that he went down to this air base and looked at all of this flying saucer junk and looked at these little diminutive bodies. And see, Jack could have been prosecuted for treason, in fact, if he told her things like that. And the worst thing about it for them, for the government, you know, would have been that if they had prosecuted him for telling her classified information, which is in fact a very serious offense, they'd have to admit that the stuff that he told her was true. It would all come out. You can imagine how much publicity, and you know, can you imagine all the news that this would generate? They would basically have to say, okay, yeah, Marilyn was telling the truth. You know, Jack was telling the truth. There really are little bodies and rooms full of debris and so forth. And silly old us, we just haven't bothered to tell you.
I can only imagine, you know, his cabinet, his chief of staff, his handlers, all sitting. Okay, all right. So who did you say this to? Well, it was Marilyn. What else did you tell her? Well, I said some things. And the next thing you know, it's UFOs, but it's probably international politics, maybe the mafia and organized crime and everything else that was going on at that time. And there were many reasons presented, all of them outside of a suicide solution for Marilyn.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, actually the last person, so far as we know, the last person, except the party that came over to her house that night, the last person to speak to Marilyn, certainly on the phone, was her new kind of romantic interest, Jose Bolaños. He's the chap who escorted her to the Golden Globe Awards the previous March. He spoke to her on the phone. And when he was interviewed by Anthony Summers 21 years later, in 1983, he said, Marilyn told me something that night, quote, something shocking, something that will one day shock the whole world, unquote. And you see the trouble people get into with hypotheses like, well, you know, the Kennedys were just nervous about the affairs they had with her, and you know what their wives were going to think and so forth. Well, you know what, in 1983, nobody would be shocked by something like that. Jose did use the future tense. He said, will one day shock the whole world, which means that whatever it was still classified in 1983 and probably still classified now. Now, the thing is, all the other things that people figured were in Marilyn's diary, for example. In fact, some people saw things like this in the diary, things like Kennedy's plans to assassinate Fidel Castro, that sort of thing. All of that by 1983 had been declassified.
You know what's strange? that diary may be in this building, right?
It's conceivable. I'll tell you basically what we know about the diary. On the Monday following her murder, that would be August 6th, 1962, the coroner's aide Lionel Grandison sent a courier over to her house to see if he could get an address book so that they could notify, relatives and that sort of thing. Not that Marilyn had a whole lot of relatives, but what Eunice Murray was there at the house because Inez Melton, who was handling Marilyn's estate, in effect, had let her in to sort of supervise things. And what Eunice did was to give Lionel Grandison's aide a little address book and the diary. The diary was actually in the guest house. And Lionel Grandison later said that he took that Monday night when he left, he took the diary and locked it in the safe in his office. And when he came back on Tuesday morning, he unlocked the safe and the diary was gone. Now, the only other person who had access to that safe was the coroner, Dr. Theodore Curfey. Now, Curfey was basically a government toady. Okay, he was basically just somebody that was essentially sucking up, to all the power figures that were surrounding him over this whole thing. And likely as not, he took the diary out and gave it to heaven knows who. He could have certainly given it to Bobby Kennedy, for example, because we know that Bobby Kennedy, because of surveillance tapes at Marilyn's house, we know that Bobby Kennedy was over there that afternoon, the Saturday afternoon before Marilyn's death, screaming at her to give him the diary. And he said, "My family will pay you for it. Where the F is it? And my family, we have to have it." So whatever Theodore Curfey, who pretty much has to be the person that took it out of the safe, did with it, he could have given it to Bobby, he could have given it to the CIA, he could have done most anything with it.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
No, I haven't.
Have you, when it comes to the paranormal and you hear about things like this, I'm sitting in this police precinct and I'm hearing strange things going on, and I don't know where to go with any of this. But when you hear about this and you know that there's Marilyn's evidence in this building with me now, would it surprise you if maybe she said something tonight after you and I had a very cool conversation about her?
Well, in this kind of endeavor, one loses one's sense of surprise after a while. I have to say, no, it really wouldn't surprise me a whole lot.
Don, thank you so much. The book is a great read. And if anything happens tonight, if Marilyn says, say hello to Don for me, I'll let you know.
Well, I appreciate it.